4424. Upon intercepting the assigned radial, the controller advises you that you are on the airway and to resume own navigation. This phrase means that A. You are still in radar contact, but must make position reports. B. Radar services are terminated and you will be responsible for position reports. C. You are to assume responsibility for your own navigation. The correct answer is C. When the controller advises you to resume own navigation after intercepting the assigned radial, it means that you are now responsible for navigating your aircraft along the designated airway. The controller is no longer providing specific guidance or vectors, and you should rely on your own navigation equipment to stay on track. This instruction does not imply that you are still in radar contact or that you must make position reports. It simply indicates that you should assume full responsibility for navigating along the airway using your own navigation capabilities. 4736. When is radar service terminated during a visual approach? A. Automatically when ATC instructs the pilot to contact the tower. B. Immediately upon acceptance of the approach by the pilot. C. When ATC advises, radar service terminated, resume own navigation. The correct answer is A. During a visual approach, radar service is typically terminated automatically when ATC instructs the pilot to contact the tower. Once the pilot is instructed to switch communication to the tower frequency, radar service is no longer provided by the radar controller. At this point, the tower controller will handle the remainder of the approach and landing clearance. 4420. During a takeoff into IAF are conditions with low ceilings. When should the pilot contact departure control? A. Before penetrating the clouds. B. When advised by the tower. C. Upon completing the first turn after takeoff. The correct answer is B. Upon being released from the control tower, the pilot should make contact with departure control on the designated frequency. 4471. What responsibility does the pilot in command of an IF or flight assume upon entering VF or conditions? A. Report VF or conditions to ARTCC so that an amended clearance may be issued. B. Use VF or operating procedures. C. To see and avoid other traffic. The correct answer is C. When the pilot in command, PIC, of an instrument flight rules, IFR, flight enters visual flight rules, VFR, conditions, they assume the responsibility to see and avoid other traffic. In VFR conditions, pilots are expected to rely on their own visual observations to maintain separation from other aircraft and avoid potential collisions. 4373. When is a pilot on an IF or flight plan responsible for avoiding other aircraft? A. At all times when not in radar contact with ATC. B. When weather conditions permit, regardless of whether operating under IFR or VFR. C. Only when advised by ATC. The correct answer is B. When weather conditions permit regardless of whether an operation is conducted under IFR or VFR, vigilance shall be maintained by each person operating an aircraft so as to see and avoid other aircraft in compliance with this section.